The hum of the Constellation Prime's fusion core echoed through the steel corridors like a distant storm. Commander Rylan Comichel stood alone on the bridge, eyes fixed on the flickering holomap suspended before him. 12 red dots blinked into nothingness, 12 children gone without a trace. No ransom, no warning, no remains. Just silence. His fingers moved with precision across the console, bringing up data streams from Colony Arcadia, Titan's Reach, and the Martian Educational Enclave. The pattern was clear. Each child taken was under 16, genetically exceptional, and part of Earth's long-term terraforming program. All were untraceable. What was less clear was the faint trail of exotic neutrino signatures, impossible to produce by human technology, left behind in each location. "Commander," said Lieutenant Rana from the ops deck, voice tight, "we received a response from the Threxerai envoy. General Vrazek has agreed to attend the emergency summit. His vessel is on approach." Comichel didn't respond immediately. The Threxerai. They'd been allies, tenuous but valuable, in the frontier conflicts. Yet their interest in human genetics had never sat right with him. It wasn't overt, but always lurking beneath pleasantries and cultural exchanges was a hunger, a curiosity too sharp. Now that curiosity felt more like a weapon. As the alien ship docked with Constellation Prime, Comichel made his way to the diplomatic chamber. The room was full. Fleet Admiral Wurchel sat at the far end, stone-faced, while various counselors and security officers lined the perimeter. Comichel took his seat without ceremony. A hush fell over the chamber as the doors hissed open. General Vrazek entered, tall and cloaked in ceremonial black. His obsidian exoskin shimmered subtly, and his elongated eyes blinked sideways with reptilian calculation. He moved like a creature made of both bone and liquid, too graceful for his size, too calm for the occasion. "General," Comichel began, standing, "we appreciate your presence. We are aware this is an abrupt convening, but time is against us." Vrazek inclined his head. "Urgency is noted, Commander. Speak plainly. Children have gone missing. Human children. 12 across 5 colonies. No demands, no contact, but evidence of advanced displacement technology, technology known to exist within your species' reach." A murmur rippled through the chamber. Vrazek's head tilted slightly. "You accuse us?" "We suspect involvement," Admiral Wurchel interjected. "Your science enclaves have requested access to human juvenile genomes repeatedly. Each request was denied. You ceased formal research collaboration a month ago. And now 12. For a long moment, Vrazek did not move. Then, he took a slow step forward. "No such operation exists under my command. I am disturbed by this implication, but more by the pattern you describe. This is not Threxerai protocol." Comichel narrowed his gaze. "If it's not your command, perhaps a rogue faction?" "Impossible." Vrazek's tone hardened. "There are no unsanctioned genetic projects within our Accord territories. You insult my honor with such notions." A warning light blinked on Comichel's console. Lieutenant Rana had sent a private ping. "New data. Threxerai cloaked vessel identified near Arcadia 12 hours before last abduction. Partial transponder match." Vrazek saw the shift in Comichel's expression and turned abruptly. "What is it?" "Your people may not have sanctioned this, General, but a cloaked vessel bearing Threxerai transponder residue was detected near the last site." Silence gripped the room. "Scan error," Vrazek said. "Too quickly. Your equipment often mistakes. We confirmed it across 3 arrays." Comichel's voice was ice. "And now we need answers." A visible tremor crossed the alien's composure. His hands, always folded in elegant stillness, curled slightly. For the first time in the years Comichel had known him, Vrazek seemed unprepared. "I must confer with my science command," he said. "There may be misinterpretations to correct." He turned, but Admiral Wurchel stood. "You're not leaving, General. Not until we know where those children are." Vrazek's voice rose, hissing with urgency. "You do not understand what you're touching. This situation is volatile." "Make us understand," Comichel demanded. Vrazek froze. His black eyes met Kamachel's, not with anger, but fear. True, unmistakable fear. You must stop searching, Vrazek said, softly, urgently. Stop your investigations. If you push this, if you uncover what lies beneath, your people will not survive it. Neither will mine. Then he stepped back. His body stiffened, his ceremonial mantle drawing tight like a shroud. This council is over. Before anyone could respond, he pressed a small control on his wrist. In an instant, his form shimmered, and with a flicker of light, the Threxerai general vanished. The chaos erupted. Security scrambled. Communications officers shouted over each other. Kamachel remained still, eyes locked on the spot where the alien had stood. Vrazek hadn't denied the abductions. He hadn't confessed either, but the panic in his voice wasn't for himself. It was for what he believed was coming. Kamachel's console pinged again. A new file had been decrypted from the cloak trace near Arcadia. It was a brief transmission burst, nearly corrupted. Kamachel tapped it open. A child's voice whispered, terrified. They said we're special, but they're scared of us. We changed something. They didn't mean to. Please help. The message cut to static. Kamachel closed his eyes for a moment, shutting out the noise around him. Then he opened a secure channel to Rana. Ready the recon team, he said. We find that moon. And in that instant, Commander Kamachel knew the war wasn't coming. It had already begun, and it didn't look anything like they'd prepared for. The darkened war room aboard the Constellation Prime pulsed with muted holographics and low, urgent voices. Commander Kamachel stood at the center, shoulders tight, gaze locked on the grainy scan of the Threxerai moon codenamed Nereth 3, a dead rock orbiting beyond official Threxerai territory. It wasn't listed on any diplomatic registry. No communication logs. No traffic records. And yet it pulsed with life signatures. 12. Faint, human. We're sure it's them? Kamachel asked. Lieutenant Rana nodded, eyes bloodshot from hours without rest. Same biometric tags logged from the colony census. DNA markers match. Kamachel exhaled slowly. Then Vrazek lied. No, Rana said, hesitating. I don't think he did. At least, not directly. We intercepted another burst from the same location, encrypted in old Threxerai command code. It's not from his main fleet. Kamachel's jaw clenched. Somewhere between allies and enemies, the truth had cracked open. And the deeper he stared into it, the less solid everything felt. Vrazek's panic now made a terrible kind of sense. Not because he was guilty, but because he knew who was. I want eyes inside that moon. No engagement, Kamachel ordered. Get me a Black Echo recon team. Within the hour, the stealth shuttle Argent Wind had detached silently from the hangar bay and jumped into fold space. Kamachel remained behind, pacing the deck, waiting. A chime cut the tension, a priority transmission live. Kamachel recognized the origin immediately. Vrazek. The alien's image flickered onto the screen, haggard and stripped of ceremonial garb. His usual composure was gone, replaced by something raw, almost human. You went to Nereth, Vrazek said, voice low. You should not have. You lied, Kamachel replied, stepping closer. You told us no rogue operation existed. We found one, with our children inside. Vrazek didn't flinch. I said no known project existed. I did not lie. But now that you've seen it, you must understand. This is beyond either of us. That place was meant to be forgotten. Kamachel's temper flared. 12 children disappeared, Vrazek. Earth thinks it's an act of war. I think it's a betrayal. So tell me, what's happening in that moon? There was a pause. Then Vrazek did something unexpected. He transmitted a file. Play that, he said. Then you'll know why I panicked. The video was archival, marked over 20 years old. It showed a Threxerai lab, cold, luminous, and humming with technology. Human children, infants at the time, lay suspended in clear pods. Threxerai's scientists moved silently, administering what appeared to be controlled pulses of dark energy, unstable and foreign even to Kamachel's trained eye. The video shifted to show one of the children suddenly convulsing, then impossibly absorbing the energy and emitting a harmonic frequency that destabilized the lab's internal gravity. The feed went black. These children, Vrazik said, were not abducted. They were selected. Decades ago. Part of a joint experiment, One Earth disavowed, though not all your leaders were innocent. The project was buried. But now the results are waking up. Kamachel's fists clenched. Why now? Because one of them started speaking in the ancestral Threxerai tongue, Vrazik said. We don't know how. They're evolving. Or adapting. Or remembering. The door to the war room hissed open. Rana entered, breathless. Sir. The Argent Wind made contact. They're sending visuals now. The display snapped to life, grainy footage of dark halls, pulsating alien conduits, and then, one by one, the children. Alive. Unharmed. Sitting quietly in a chamber that seemed more temple than prison. None looked afraid. A team member approached cautiously, voice low, trying to communicate. One of the children, a girl of maybe 10, lifted her head. You shouldn't have come, she said. Her voice was unmodulated, eerily calm. This place is not for you. The signal faltered. We're losing feed, Rana whispered. Hold it, Kamachel barked. But it was too late. Static overtook the stream. The team was offline. Vrazik's image remained, his voice more hollow than before. They are not the same anymore, Commander. And neither is the threat. These children, they are becoming something that frightens even us. Then why not tell us? Kamachel snapped. Why let it come to this? Because Earth would not have listened, Vrazik said. You would have weaponized them, or destroyed them. I thought if I bought time, I could find a solution. But now we're all out of time. A silence settled between them, heavier than gravity. Kamachel stepped back from the console, mind racing. What happens next? That depends on what your people do, Vrazik answered. You must decide, contain them or protect them. But if others learn the truth, they will not hesitate. The channel cut. Kamachel stared at the empty screen. No orders, no protocol, no scenario had prepared him for this. These weren't just abducted children anymore. They were something new, a variable no one controlled. Not even the Threxerai. He turned to Rana. Get the Echo team back. I don't care what it takes. And inform Admiral Wurchel. We may need to stand down the fleet. Rana's eyes widened. Sir? Stand down. If we make the wrong move, Kamachel said slowly, we start a war not just with the Threxerai, but with our own future. And even as he spoke the words, a deeper dread settled in his chest. The children had spoken. And they hadn't asked for rescue. They'd given a warning. The sky above Nereth, 3 cracked open in a shimmer of electric aurora, casting pulsing violet light across the jagged obsidian landscape. A storm of dark energy, native only to this part of Threxerai space, had begun to form above the surface, a swirling maelstrom synchronized with the children's strange biological signatures below. Commander Kamachel stood in the observation deck of the descending shuttle Argent Wind 2, staring through reinforced glass at the moon that had become the axis of too many unspoken sins. He hadn't planned to come down himself. But when the first Argent Wind team went silent, protocol no longer mattered. They were his people. And somewhere down there were children who should have been asleep in Earth cities, not worshipped like relics in an alien sanctum. Atmospheres volatile but breathable. Lieutenant Rana reported from behind him, her voice steady despite the tremor in her hands. No readings from the first team. Either they're being blocked, or something happened. Kamachel didn't reply. He fastened the last clasp of his environmental suit and moved toward the rear hatch. Commander, Rana called. Should we inform Admiral Wurchel? No, he said flatly. We don't know what this is yet. And I'm not sending more ships unless I know they'll come back. The ramp hissed open with a burst of steam. Kamachel stepped into a world neither human nor Threxerai had ever fully tamed. The terrain was silent. No birds, no wind, just the rhythmic hum of something ancient vibrating through the stone underfoot. The team moved in formation toward the signal source, lights casting long shadows against craggy walls. Inside the moon's carved interior, the temple came into view again. Half organic, half architectural, it pulsed with ambient bioluminescence. And then they saw the children. All 12 stood in a circle, eyes closed, arms linked. A lattice of light connected their bodies. No cables, no tech, just pure energy arcing between them. At their center floated the girl who had spoken through the last transmission. Her feet didn't touch the ground. "Commander," she said before her eyes even opened. "You came after all." Kamachel froze. "Are you all right?" "We're becoming," she replied simply. "And it's almost finished." Rana stepped beside him, scanning her HUD. "Their neural activity is, Commander, it's not just advanced. It's fused. They're a shared consciousness." The floating girl opened her eyes. Black irises ringed in a faint golden light. "We were chosen long before the project began." Something inside us called out. The Threxeri amplified it. But they didn't understand. They still don't. Kamachel swallowed. "Tell me what you are." "We're the bridge," she said. "Between what your species is and what it must become. Between war and extinction." Suddenly, a booming echo resounded from the outer chamber. The security team raised their weapons. A new presence entered, General Vrazek. He walked slowly, alone and unarmed, his expression unreadable. "I begged them not to come," the girl said, her tone soft. "But they feared what we might say, what we might be." Vrazek looked at Kamachel with weary eyes. "Your Echo team is alive. Contained, unharmed. They were never in danger. Not from the children." "Then from who?" Kamachel asked. Vrazek turned toward the children. "There's a faction inside the Threxeri Ministry of Evolution. They believe these hybrids are an existential threat. They sent agents. Kill orders." Rana stepped forward. "You came to stop them?" "I came to stop all of us," Vrazek said. But his words came too late. The chamber's wall erupted inward in a burst of kinetic force. Armored figures poured in, Threxeri operatives, clad in obsidian exo-armor, weapons charged with null energy. Their leader's voice echoed coldly. "Neutralize the anomaly. Terminate the convergence." Time slowed. Kamachel raised his weapon. Rana dove toward cover. The children did not flinch. Instead, they linked hands tighter. "Please," the girl said gently, "don't be afraid." A pulse of radiant energy burst from their circle, harmless to Kamachel and his team, but devastating to the attackers. The operatives collapsed without a sound, their suits deactivating mid-stride, as if time itself had been erased from their momentum. Silence returned. Rana stood, blinking. "What was that?" "We unmade the threat," the girl said. "Not with violence. With dissonance. Their intent was unstable, and so they unraveled." Vrazek lowered his gaze. "They will send more." "Not if we go public," Kamachel said. "If Earth and the Accord knew the truth, saw it, no one could bury this again." Vrazek nodded. "You may be right, or they may fear you more." The girl descended slowly to the ground, her feet finally touching the stone. "We don't want war. We don't want power. But we are here. We exist. That cannot be undone." Kamachel looked at her, truly looked, and saw not a weapon, nor a victim, but something impossible. Something new. He tapped his comm. "Kamachel to Constellation Prime. Full extraction. Priority 1. We're bringing them home." A pause. "Sir?" the comms officer asked. "All 12. He glanced at the children, who now stood in quiet unity, no longer floating, no longer restrained. "Yes," he said. "All 12. And inform Admiral Wurchel. We're going to need a new kind of protocol." As the team prepared to ascend, Vrazek moved beside Kamachel. "If this ends in fire, we'll both be ash." "Then let's make sure it doesn't," Kamachel said, eyes on the stars. Above them, the aurora broke, and light, pure, unfiltered, poured across the surface of Nereth 3. The storm had passed, but the future was just beginning.